Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, pleasure to be here or to have you here today. And first thing, I just want to make a comment. I made a comment with Mr. Lieu yesterday, but I just wanted to point out again that the President's claim, and you echoed the claim here, Mr. Lieu echoed the claim as well, that the President has met his pledge to cut the deficit in half. And of course, when he made that pledge, he said nothing about the tying it to economic growth. It was a flat pledge to cut it in half, and it's still $175 billion short. With that said, but even with that in mind, and restating that, exactly how does the President plan on helping this Congress to make certain, for instance, the freeze on discretionary non-security spending? You made the comment the President proposes, the Congress disposes, and I have a third grader, and that's the way they understand. That's not the way it works. In 1997, President Clinton stepped up when we had the debate over the debt ceiling and said, let's talk about balanced budget. My question is, does the President have any desire to make some concrete proposals in this time period other than simply presenting this budget that's, we all agree, is unsustainable? Is there anything concrete?
As part of the debt limit or as part of reducing deficits?
Well, I think when we talk about the debt limit, at least my constituents say, we understand the vote on the debt limit is a referendum on past spending by your administration and previous Congresses. That's what we're doing. That's raising the debt limit. Well, what about going forward in the future? And I understand the President would like to not have to face a discussion about the future in the debt limit, but frankly, that's why I think the discussion should take place.
We absolutely want to have a discussion about the future. Again, the important thing we face is to try to figure out how we come together on a credible, comprehensive plan to reduce those deficits. That's what our citizens expect of us. That's what the world's going to require. That's what's important to recovery going forward. But it's more complicated, of course, than just trying to figure out how you get them down. You've got to get it down in a way that is going to be acceptable past the Congress. And of course, you're right. We can't leave it to you. We'll be an active part of trying to figure out how to shape consensus, and the President will help play an active role in that process. But again, the budget is the beginning of that process. It doesn't solve all the nation's problems. There's other things we're going to have to do, and we recognize, again, you're going to have different ideas on how best to do it. And what we look forward to is hearing your alternative suggestion for how we get there, how quickly we get there, and how we get there. And then we'll have two contrasting visions, and we'll figure out what makes the most sense.
And I appreciate that. And but I believe your timetable is maybe April, maybe May for the debt ceiling vote, and but we would not anticipate anything from the administration before we have that vote as far as serious discussion on the deficits. And
well, no, we're beginning a serious discussion on the deficit right now. That's what the budget starts. And again, we laid out a comprehensive plan.
But there's nothing about entitlement reform in there.
Well, again, I don't think that's really a fair way to look at the record of what this President has done. Again, the Affordable Care Act, which I know your side doesn't like parts of it, delivers very, very substantial entitlement reform that delivers very, very substantial deficit reduction over time.
And I understand that, but you've already assumed that in your budget, correct?
We do, and the President said
and you also agree that it's unsustainable to have a $768 billion deficit in 2 years. We'll still be at, what, $768 billion?
Yeah, as I said, we propose to bring it down to roughly 3% of GDP over a 3 to 5 year period. We phase it in so that we don't kill growth and kill jobs.
And I understand that. I'm just about out of time. I just want to note, Mr. Obama may not be here in 3 to 5 years. The question is, he promised by the end of his administration.
No, but Congress,
we've got 2 years, and actually, I think we've got a couple months window here, and I'd encourage the President to step up.
No, I agree.
Help provide an opportunity before April to provide a real proposal to help reach an agreement here.
Right.
So, but I appreciate it. Thank you,
let's move on this now. But again, let me just make one more. I want to make this one point again. Again, we've got a lot of strengths as a country, a lot of strengths in our budget process, although it's not working very well for the country right now. But please consider this as you think about how to help us fix this problem. We need a multi-year plan that brings them down over time that you can lock yourselves into. Because if you do it year by year, nobody will have any confidence you're going to deliver on it. So it has to be a multi-year plan. Other countries have found a way to do this. We need to find a way too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.